What are the hallmarks of a cult? Think about it. I'll give you a second. I can't give you too many seconds because terrestrial radio will trip a best up. What's the hallmarks of a cult, right? Any evidence that refutes evidence that the cult is based on anything substantive is evidence of your guilt. I'll show you evidence of that in a minute. That's what happens. Say you're in a cult where this guy claims he is a space alien with superpowers. I'm not messing with you. Just say, don't laugh. This kind of stuff has happened.
Yeah.
Some guy claims he's from outer space and he's a space alien with special, like Martian Manhunter space powers or whatever, right? Captain Marvel space powers. Yeah. Yet every time you see this guy, you never actually see these powers. He claims to have these powers to read your mind. He's constantly wrong. You say to him, okay, read my mind now. I'm thinking of 2 numbers. And every time you ask him, he gets the numbers wrong. What happens in a cult, Joe? I'm asking Joe as if he's been in a cult. Dan, in my experience, a cult. Joe doesn't know. But here's what happens in a cult for some of you who sadly have had family members or know someone who've read a book on this either. What happens is, as the first person gets up and dances and starts to say, hey, okay, you can read my mind because you're a special space alien. I have 2 numbers in my head. What are they? And by the 10th time that the person gets it wrong, the guy starts speaking out because he's dancing and he goes, he's waiting for someone else to dance with him. And he goes, hey, listen, man, I've been talking to this guy, this pseudo-Martian dude. And I got to tell you, I think we're wasting our time in this call because this guy never gets the answers to my questions right. And he's telling us he can read our minds. Well, what's the hallmarks of a cult? What happens? Everybody goes, heresy, heresy. He read your mind and you're the liar. And here's the evidence. The cult leader read your mind that you were playing a trick on him and therefore is a mind reader. And it's you, Hester Prynne. Throw her in the boiling water. Is that not the hallmarks of a cult? Why am I bringing up cult psychology and sociology? Because how is this next screenshot, especially the end part of it, how is this not evidence of a tyranny culture, suppression culture, liberal cult? Because it's a liberal phenomenon. Conservatives don't want to cancel people. Not the good. Liberals want to do this. Here, this is the last quote from the piece. It says, one Brentwood mother wrote to me, once someone shames one person, many chime in agreement. Of course, Joe, because they all want to signal their wokeness. Yeah. The times I speak up to defend those they shame, they attempt to shame me because no one wants to get up and dance when someone else dances first. But it goes on. Here's the cult part. So God forbid you speak out against the show. Shame, 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 Game of Thrones style. In this worldview, complexity itself is a kind of racism. Nuance is phobia and skepticism merely a type of false consciousness. Ibram Kendi, author of How to Be an Anti-Racist, plainly spelled out the logic on Twitter recently. Listen to this guy who's one of the creators of this hate yourself because of your skin color mentality. Listen to this quote and tell me how this isn't a cult. The heartbeat of racism is denial. And too often, the more powerful the racism, the more powerful the denial. You get it? You get it? You digging? You digging how this goes?
Yeah, man.
You're a racist. You should hate yourself. Everybody should signal to you should hate yourself. The catch is everybody's doing it to everybody else. And if you dare deny you're a racist, the more forcefully you deny it, the more racist you are. You see how that can't possibly end well? Ibram Kendi apparently isn't an expert in logic because that can't possibly end well. You're a racist. If you deny you're a racist, you're more of a racist. Huh? Folks, you better get up and dance quick. You better do it fast, and you better do it coordinated, and you better do it with speed, because I'm telling you right now, you are next, because this is a race to the bottom as parents and cancel culture practitioners reach for new victims to signal to others they're woke, and they're running out of victims on the conservative side because we are separating ourselves from them rapidly in an entirely parallel universe, and it is only going to be leftists left to eat themselves alive soon. And if you're a leftist listening to my show, you are next. You know what? Can you just put up that New York Times headline, Guy, and then I'll get to this final sponsor. You want me to show you more evidence of a leftist cult just quick? Because I covered Spygate for years on the show.
Yeah, man.
Here was a headline by the New York Times from May of 2018 showing you, if you were in the collusion pee-pee tape brigade, that you were a cultist too. Here's an actual headline, not a joke, from the New York Times. The FBI used an informant to investigate Russia ties to campaign, but not to spy, as Trump claims. You present conclusive evidence that the FBI had a spy in the Trump campaign. Members of the Trump campaign were literally spied on by a guy. We know his name. We know he was paid by the FBI. You produce that evidence to the collusion cult, and they claim you're the heretic, that the spy is not the spy. And it's even in the headline. He was just a euphemistic informant. He was an undocumented informant. That's evidence you're in a cult, folks. Where evidence that the cult leader, Jim Comey, the Democrats, Hillary Clinton, and others, you present evidence to the contrary. No, Trump was actually spied on, and you're the heretic. That's not the spy. He wasn't a spy. He was an undocumented FBI paid informer who engaged in spying-like activities, but definitely not a spy. Definitely not a spy. Matter of fact, you're a Russian too, Bongino. You. Remember, Joe? Joe's been to Russia, so am I. You, heretic, Russian colluder. You're in with Trump on the spying thing, on the collusion pee-pee thing.
Duh.
Do you understand you're in a cult? Do you understand that? You get you're in a cult? No matter what evidence we present to you, you did something wrong. The evidence is used to attack us. I'm really sorry you're in a cult.